Good morning. My name is Randy, and I'll be your host on this channel. Um, Today's video that I'm making is about it's the introductory video to my channel. This channel, I'm the creator, um, and it's about living in an RV off grid. In my case, it happens to be with three dogs. I'm in northern Arizona, and today is the 10th of July, 2025. Um, in 6 days, I turned 64 years old. I'm a retired vet. I didn't retire from the military. I retired from the private sector. In that life, in the private sector, I was a senior mechanical engineering design manager. That was my last official title. Uh, that was at Amazon, by the way. That was fun. I spent 2 years there. I can talk about that if any of you want to have that conversation. But that's not really what the site's about. That is my old life, and my new life is not something I ever expected to have occur or to even think that it would occur this way, that it is happening. I um, always planned to come to northern Arizona and look for property, which is what I'm doing right now. I always planned to do that in an RV. Um, Not the rig I have now, and not with three dogs. But I've been doing this for 10 months now, and my family, my friends encouraged me to journal, to capture this experience in my life of living in an RV with three dogs off grid, traveling. Like I did say, I've been doing this 10 months, and it originally started the adventure in Washington, in the Puget Sound area. Excuse me. I spent almost 4 months living in the RV with the three dogs with my 20-plus-year-old son. We were waiting for him uh, to go to the military. Uh, Two of the three dogs are my sons, and the large dog, Penny, that you're going to meet and get to know, and if you choose to watch these videos that I'm making, and the shorts can be pretty funny because these three dogs are clowns. They keep me quite entertained, I must say. Um, let's see. I've told you a lot about who I am, kind of what the purpose of this video is, what we're doing a little bit, and how long we've been doing it, and where we are. So I'll expand on each of those three a little bit more. I do have a couple other topics today's other format. I want to just kind of keep in mode with, and I have a one sheet set of notes here that took me a while to condense my thoughts down to one sheet. I start off and I had four sheets, and I just want to give everybody the honest truth about this experience because it's been pretty unique for me. And I got to give you a little backstory here in a little while about myself and about how I got here, and uh, what happened, and everything there. Um, like I mentioned, I worked for Amazon for 2 years at the end of my professional career, and that was enough professional for me. That was enough corporate for me. Thank you very much. After a long career of 30 plus years in that industry, doing what I was doing, and I was very good at it, and also very tired of it and burnt out at that point. Uh, Before the pandemic, before the world's perceptions and illusions all were shattered and everything changed for all of us, and I know that it's changed for everybody in the world because I have family and I have friends and I talk to people, and especially on the road, I've met a lot of people that are still living the illusion, it seems like. But They're mostly either older than me or my age, or very, very young and very naive. And that's all I'm going to say about the condition of the world, other than how it related to and has related to my relationships, my life, and my experiences here. I'm going to try to contain myself there. So the thing about it is who we are. Well, I mentioned to you, I'm Randy. I was in the service. I'm a retired vet, not from the service, but from the professional. Again, you know, private side sector, working sector. Um, the other who we are is I have 3 dogs with me. I have Penny, and I was originally in this video going to show everybody. You would get to see the dogs playing. You'll be able to figure out who they are and the personalities I'm talking about. Today, Penny went into heat, which is a unique challenge when I'm out here, and I'm going to talk about challenges a little bit more today. I'm going to try to keep this video as brief and concise as possible, and make it a one-cut wonder, so to say. Again, this is the introduction to my site. I'm going to go ahead and take my glasses off here and let my eyes adjust a second while I'm looking at the camera and looking at everybody. Look at my notes one more time. So I mentioned I spent the first 4 months living up in Washington. I didn't mention where I lived with my son. It was interesting, and with the dogs. We lived in a rest stop on I-5, and I mean I stayed in a few other places while I was living in Washington that period of time before I left to come down here, and I left approximately in March, mid-March of 2025 is when I left and started driving down here. So getting here took a while. I didn't hurry. I was tired. Another thing about me is I just spent 4 days in the hospital being severely dehydrated and malnourished. When right, literally a month before all of this started, and so learning to take care of myself, learning to take the proper diet, learning to drink water, forcing myself to stay hydrated, and be cognizant of that and take care of myself so I didn't die or end up back in the hospital. That was one of my eye-opening experiences the last 5 years for me as I've aged and grown older. The dog's Penny's mine. She is a German short-haired pointer crossed with a pit bull. She's 80 pounds of crazy love. Crazy love. She's also obstinate, arrogant, stubborn, which is her arrogance, and mischievous. If she wants something, if she wants out, oh my God, it's crazy. She did that to the trailer. She broke the window out, jumped through the escape window glass that was in there one day as we were leaving the campsite. That only took 3 hours to correct until we could actually leave the campsite. So there's a few unique challenges. The other 2 dogs I have are Australian Shepherd Corky mix, and they're my son's dogs. He is in the service now, and he's in basic, and that's awesome. As a dad, as a parent, that's kind of a unique thing to go to. I was in the service. He's in the same branch as I was in, so as time goes by, I'll talk about that if any of you want to hear any of those stories. I have a few. Hot today. It's about 89 degrees right now. It's going to get about 96 here, 95 where I'm at. I have the shade, this huge giant oak tree I'm sitting under and camping under, which is wonderful. Nice breeze, as you can see and hear. So the what of this site is I want to share my experiences with everybody, and I want to kind of tailor the site some of those of you that might be out camping off grid for a week or two in your 50,000 or 30,000 or whatever thousand rolling rig you got is probably not, you may not be interested in this site. And you're welcome to watch it. But I'm coming at this site from low budget, forced to be living this way, kind of not really by choice. It was always the plan to live this way a little bit, to come down here and look for land to acquire in northern Arizona. It always was. I've been planning that we're thinking about it, talking about it. You can ask my family. I've been going crazy about that it's almost obsessively for at least 5 years. Thinking about it certainly for the last 10. Should have moved on it 10 years ago when land was dirt cheap and just none of this other earth shattering, illusion shattering things had happened in our world. And that would have been good. But I didn't. And I didn't get here this time the way I thought it would occur. I think for everybody in the world that I've talked to, at least, the world's changed drastically. Every single person I've talked to, their lives have changed drastically. Their perspectives, their illusions have been shattered. I've been traveling for 7 months now, from Washington down to here, and then most of that 7 months actually here in northern Arizona traveling. And it's changed for everybody. So if you're one of those rare people that haven't been affected or whose life hasn't drastically altered or changed in the last 5 or 10 years, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear it. You know, there's another conversation we can have. Anyway, in my travels, and I need to hurry up so that I keep on point here for everyone and keep clear and concise. The other two Muppets that I have with me, and I call them Muppets because they were puppies when we got them. They're all three family dogs. We had Penny first. Eli's my son, and he brought home the two smaller dogs, his dogs, and they've been wonderful. Um, we've had all these family dogs for a long time. So in there's a couple other round out details I want to share with you, and then I got to move quickly here so that I keep focused for all of you. Um, in 2023, December of 2023, my wife had a double mastectomy. 2024 was a really tough year for me and my family, my wife and I, my children. I had two children. My two sons were at home. I have two grown daughters. They have their own family. My wife and I are separated now. The separation occurred in October of 2024 when this whole RV off-grid adventure started. My wife and I are talking. We're working on our relationship. Um, Sometimes distance helps people in their relationships. Being apart helps everybody garner a little perspective for what they actually have and who they actually have and what they actually have or had. And that's a good teachable growth experience for anybody in their life, and it has been for me and continues to be. The original plan was to come down here and purchase some land in Arizona, homestead it, and move on in life. The last 5 years obviously have brought a lot of changes for everybody with the pandemic, and my family and I have been no exceptions. And the thing I hate or like or am the most interested in is how it's affected people's relationships and has drawn that dividing line in what people think and how their perspectives and what they think, and that's been a real eye opener and growth thing for me personally. The 7 months on the road down here to Arizona, and even the 4 months before that, so the 10 months has been the growth has come in huge phases because in the beginning, uh, with the separation and with everything that occurred, mm, I was very traumatized. My son was very traumatized. It was a very traumatic experience in our life. It was one of those life altering moments where everything you had's gone, and instantaneously one day it's all different, basically. And so, excuse me, as that occurred, um, I went through those emotional and mental and um, even physical gymnastics to survive and get to where I am today, making this video for you guys on YouTube. And at 64, I never thought I would be making a YouTube video and posting up my life for the world to look at. I used to have a thing about the government not knowing about me. Kind of irrelevant now because they know about everything. They know everything about all of us. So it doesn't matter. And what does matter is being truthful to myself, being truthful to you guys, being truthful to my wife, being truthful to my kids. You know, life's just too short not to enjoy it, not to prosper, not to let what they've done to everybody, to all of us across the planet, get to you. We're a lot stronger than they are because, and here's the big thing, we're not them. We're not evil. I'm not an evil man. And so, in that, knowing that I'm a good person, that my intent is right, that my heart's pure and good, that I love people genuinely, that I don't harbor ill intent, and that I love Jesus, and that's it. That's it. The whole thing right there. So my life's changed drastically. I never thought I'd be living in an RV with 3 dogs in northern Arizona like this, making a video on YouTube. But I am, and it's fun. And so I'm gonna move forward. I got a couple other items I want to cover. The intent of my channel for you guys really, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay this down like this for just a second and fold this so it's not all rattly anymore. The intent of this channel, beyond what I've shared with you to this point, is that, you know, I've given you all the backstory, kind of how I got here and what I'm doing and where we're at and all that. So I just want to openly discuss because, you know, I shared with you that I was a mechanical design engineer, and yeah, I was great. I'm mechanically inclined. When I was a kid, I was a mechanic. And then at one point in my life, I was even a professional mechanic. My family had 2 garages that I used to work at, and I loved it. So cars are my thing, motorcycles. So being off grid, and the reason I'm telling you about all that is it's going to lead to the actually 3 points I want to close with, is that you need to be prepared. You know, I got a lot of experience to be out here doing this. And I don't want to be a Danny Downer or the guy that gloom and doom. But if you're not prepared and you come off grid this far, like where I go, 10 miles into the bush, 30 miles off grid, something goes wrong and you're 30 miles into the backcountry and you got no phone, you got no walkie-talkies, you got no radio, you got nothing but yourself and the gear that you drug in, you make a bad decision or you get hurt, you're going to die out there. So it's pretty serious business out here. Really serious. I got lots of stories I can share with you and talk to you and address on the videos if you have any questions of what I posted up so far. Um, you know, the original plan was to come down here. The reality of the last 10 months of my life since this all occurred the way it happened and being out here is vastly different. So, you know, the when and the why of it I've kind of shared with you. And really, it's just life. And life for everybody on the planet has gotten a lot more stressful, a lot more aware, I hope. what's going on and why stuff's crazy like it is. If you haven't, you will. It's not going to get any crazier, I don't think. Alright, enough of all the doom and gloom. I want to encourage anybody that is doing this or contemplating doing this. And I was planning to do this, and then it happened quicker than my personal original timeline was going to put me out here. That's okay. I'm here. I love the 3 dogs. Bandit's our self-proclaimed security guard. He's awesome. He's also the biggest scaredy cat chicken that we have in the bunch. He's the little alpha mupp. His brother, Sparrow, the brown dog, boy, he'll just roll over or run away. He has a little independent streak, and he's come a long way, and he's come into his own out here in the wilderness and on the road. Making sure the dogs are happy is my primary duty when we're out in the wilderness like this and taking care of them. But I finally have gone through the phases on this journey myself in order to be at a point where I'm, hey Randy, move this thing forward, get on with your life, get done what you came down here to do. You know, the mourning part, being in mourning because of my loss at that point in my life, and shock, being in traumatic shock after 40 years of traditional home and children and wife and church, and the last 5 years have shattered a lot of that, but that's okay too. I'm open to learning, and I've always been a person that learns and wants to learn and wants to understand, and I'm still that guy. It's why it put me into the engineering and why I'm so mechanically inclined, and my experiences in life have all led me to that, which again brings me back to this, and I'll go ahead and hurry up here. So I have 3 items I really want to touch on as I close out here today. I'm going to walk around the camp here a little bit while I talk to you so you can see my camp and you can kind of gather and fathom and understand what I'm talking about. That way I can also just kind of help you get a feel for what my life's like out here. And it's not that it's bad. Oh, it's not that it's bad. I enjoy most of my time on the road. And most of the time with my dogs. Our dogs, the family dogs. I'll show you Penny. Penny. So, yeah, my 3 points. I want to encourage you. If you think about doing it and you think you can and you're prepared, and that's my first point, preparedness. I was preparing my truck as a hauling truck and spending money on it long before the camper thing, and I wasn't going to buy, well, I never intended to buy this camper. Which brings me to a point. How much does all this cost to be here? Well, again, I went very low budget. I need to present things and hope to present things to you guys that you guys find useful. For me, low budget had always kind of been a way of life anyway. Saving, moving towards goals, doing different things, watching inflation strip all that away. So it didn't matter, right? I needed to figure out what to do. And part of my plan from having a moving truck, hauling a cargo trailer, or having a truck to go to the races in, or anything like that, was to buy an old pickup truck, 3/4 ton, 4-wheel drive that would take me off road. I had a set of parameters in my head. I needed to be able to hold a big cab over camper, or at least a nice shell. I wanted it, again, 4-wheel drive, had to have a winch, needed ground clearance, needed to be able to have a big engine, or at least a diesel or a big gas engine. I got a big gas engine, an older one. Um, I have a 460 cubic inch, and it gets the job done. And it's a little thirsty, but it's not too bad. I spent a lot of money tuning it up and getting it to where it is. So this is the truck and the trailer. You know, walk out here where everybody can kind of see me. I'll put my shades on for this for you, sorry. I do want to wrap up. So preparedness, I spent a lot of money and time on the truck, getting it ready. I didn't spend, well, we didn't spend a lot of time on the trailer getting it ready. We did spend a fair amount of money. So all told on the truck and the trailer, $20,000. Cash out of, I don't have any loans, I'm not making any payments. Cheap, 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 on a budget. So, yeah, under $20,000. So as I finish out this video and tell you, you know, preparedness is key, and it's key to your safety, it's key to your life, it's key to your mental state out here. It's key to everything out here. Your survival and making all the transitions, whatever steps, whether you choose to do this and you're all mentally prepared and happy when you're stepping out into the wilderness, or whether it becomes something where you're a person living the van life, or you're living the RV life somewhere in the metropolitan or surrounding metropolitan. And I've seen a lot of videos from RV life, van life type YouTubers. Now that I've started this channel, they're popping up like popcorn across my, feed. And I've seen it driving across the country. I've seen it talking to people. They're being hassled by the law. They're being kicked out of these places. They're being forced to leave places. And I live off grid, far enough out here by choice. But again, it's very dangerous. You can die doing this easily. So the other two aspects of it that I wanted to touch on are just, and I need to wrap up, and I will. Number two, just the logistics of everything. Your water, your trash, your supplies, your food, your gasoline, your vehicle maintenance, making sure you're hooked up right every time you move the trailer. All those things, those are taxing and take time too. And the third and final thing I'll say is just your emotional, your mental state, how you approach what you're going to do. Do it with fun. Again, my name's Randy. This channel's about living in an RV, off-grid, with dogs in my case. And I hope some of the things I choose to share on here, and I got a lot I want to share with everybody, because I do a lot of things or have a lot of interest, or I'm trying to do a lot of things out here, including rock hounding, prospecting, I target shoot, I work with the dogs. So if you like what I've shared and you like my introduction and you think you might find some useful information out of me out here, and this is my life. This isn't me choosing to just do a YouTube channel and then, going out here to do that. This is me, my life, and then choosing to do a YouTube channel about it and share openly with everybody. So, been a lot for me, but look, I love life. I love people. I love my family. I love my kids. Never expected it to be like this at this moment, but that's okay. At least I can share this with all of you, and hopefully you guys like it. If you do, you know what to do with the, smash the like button, share, subscribe. Help me grow the channel, and yeah, I hope to have a lot more great adventures to share with everybody, and I'll see everybody soon. Thank you.